I've tried Upwork, I've tried different agencies across the globe that I've promised. I've tried cold calling. This one agent, they burned every single one of our domains in like a month. When you burn a domain, it basically just sends it to the grave. Like you can't use it again. And it really slowed down our business because we rely on leads that come in to generate deal flow. And so for a good 3, 4 months, that was kind of at a standstill. You guys stepped in and really have been just a crucial part of options to exit. That being said, we've got 13 or 14 new opportunities in the last 2 months.
Got Griffin here from Options to Exit. Griffin, what I want to start with is maybe a quick introduction to you and the company and what you guys do.
Yeah, of course. My name is Griffin. I work at Options to Exit. We are based in Delray Beach, Florida. We're a sell-side M&A advisory firm for the lower middle market. What that means, and broken down a little bit simpler, is we help companies that do between $1 million to $10 million in EBITDA find a good partnership and grow through acquisition. And it could be either full acquisition or partnership. But we help them throughout that whole process so that we can add value and they don't get taken advantage of. And
How did we? I think we reached out to you, but correct me if I'm wrong. I usually ask, how did you hear
yeah,
about us? How did you hear about being stuff? But I'm pretty sure we actually pinged you with one of our campaigns,
Yeah,
if I remember correct.
so I've been pretty involved in like the clay community over the last couple of years as I've been trialing and erroring different types of software. And one of the people in the clay community actually recommended Scaled Mail because I was trying to do this on my own originally. So I ventured down the path of using Scaled Mail and was just kind of running into errors on my side with integrations. And so I reached out and just said, hey, is there any way that you guys could take care of this for me or help out? And that's when you mentioned that you have a like a full service that isn't just Scaled Mail, and you could run basically and help me get over the hiccups that I was facing, and just say, hey, we'll take this off your hands. And we'll do the domains, we'll get everything set up, and we'll integrate everything. And that's kind of how it took off, to be honest.
You didn't start in that, hey, I'm going to do this myself, right? So I think you worked with some outbound agencies. You knew you had to be doing outbound in some respect,
Yeah,
right? Uh,
yeah.
so maybe walk me through that journey, right? I'm sure you've done everything like the intern
I've
thing and
tried Upwork, I've tried different agencies across the globe that I've promised. I've tried cold calling. What our game is, we're a small firm, right? So it's just me and a few others here, and our time is spent on different scenarios. Each deal is at a different stage, and so we started off trying to, because we've heard, just through, there's a lot of people talk in this industry. And so we were looking on LinkedIn at different areas and, really tried Upwork was kind of like the big one where we started to generate lists that were really good. And then we tried different agencies. We would give them to the list to the agencies. And I mean, this one agent, they burned every single one of our domains in like a month. And for those that don't know, or if you're not familiar with this industry, but domains are like very crucial. That's how you get into people's inboxes. And there's a lot of infrastructure behind the scenes that helps it get into inboxes. And when you burn a domain, it basically just sends it to the grave. Like you can't use it again. And so the company that we use, I think we only had like 7 or 8 domains, and every single one of them was burned within a month. That backtracks us significantly because now we have to restart the whole process of warming up domains and that whole side of it. It was a nightmare from the get go, and it really slowed down our business because we rely on leads that come in to generate deal flow. And so for a good 3, 4 months, that was kind of at a standstill, which was seriously impacting our business.
yeah, that makes sense. So it sounds like, all right, you went with this agency, they torched
Yeah.
everything you had. You start over, it looks like you start delving into clay and start going down the self-serve route, which by the way is fine. I mean, scaled mail is a great service. You absolutely can do a lot of this yourself, but I think as you found out, right, there's a lot that goes into this and it's quite literally a full-time job for one person, if not a couple
Yeah.
of people.
Yeah.
And
I learned a lot about DCAM, SPF, different types of like how many emails you're supposed to be sending because Gmail tracks all this stuff. Like it was just uncovering just a wormhole, and it just got deeper and deeper as I explored. And I've like I mentioned, like this is just one part of my job, but that one part of my job was taking up like half the day, and that is just something that I couldn't really have, with the demand that current deal flows and things along those lines. So you guys stepped in and really have been just a crucial part of options to exit. John and I are very, very, very happy that we crossed paths.
Yeah, let's get into that. So you came on board, obviously decided to go with the done for you agency services versus doing
Yeah.
this yourself, right? You can't be working deals and doing all this prospecting work. So what are the business results, the deal flow? What's it looked like since you started
Yep.
working with us? It's only been about 2.5 months, I think. So we're still in early days.
Our industry is a little unique. I think, we have somewhere between 5 to 10 calls a week with new individuals, or businesses that haven't spoken to us. And for us to take on a business, we have very niche parameters. So the conversion cycle is a little bit harder. But that being said, we've got, I want to say, something like 13 or 14 new opportunities in the last 2 months. One of them has actually already been part of a conversation with the buyer. We're kind of in steps to prolong additional companies. And I mean, it's just been an absolute time saver of to use your service, because it is essentially having your own business development team, that for a smaller firm like us, that we don't have. And it really, really translates to our, without you guys, our deal flow would be probably, if one or two calls a week. So it is incredible that we have the results that we have right now.
No, that I mean, that's great to hear. I think, as far as, we look at it, my team's got 167 leads generated since we started this, which obviously, they fall down the funnel at different rates. Some people, ghost you and what have you, but you really need that level of lead flow to get to the point that you know, the point you're describing where you've got 15 deals up in the air at any given time. I think people really underestimate the amount of outbound you really need to be doing to get to the outcome
Yeah,
you want. And so I think with a lot of people that end up, they try it, but they kind of dilly dally with it. They don't really see the payoff, and then they kind of quit and go to something else. And I think you guys have come in with enough uh, sort of force and kind of resolve here to actually get the payoff,
absolutely.
which is great. So,
When you
uh,
started on your own, it is, it is very difficult to get the results that you want. And John, our CEO here, managing director, he said, "Hey, listen, you could spend the next 4 months like becoming an expert on this," and that was including like Clay Diasenio. He goes, "Or you could just, find someone that's gonna be better at it anyways." And then so I was like, "You know what? That's a good point." So, it was great that we crossed paths, because you guys are obviously masters at what you do, and it just aligned really well.
That's great to hear. We're obviously excited to see you guys close a transaction from our efforts as well. I'm sure that'll be forthcoming. Um, what would you say, maybe to wrap up, what would you say to someone that's thinking about working with us, that's thinking about doing outbound more aggressively, or leveraging tools like Clay, et
Yeah.
cetera, and they're not quite there, or they're not quite sure the right way to go
Yeah,
about
it's a great question. I think from my experience, technology in softwares are they're changing so fast and so frequently that if you really wanted to do this on your own, you really need to do it full time. I mean, the first time I ever looked at Clay looks so different than what it does today, and there's even more softwares out there that can really help automate your workflows. And it's ever changing. And so if you're thinking about at all, skeptical, you should really think about the time that you're saving yourself by outsourcing to a team that already has a workflow built out for and has proven success. There's really no other opportunity unless you hire someone someone like us. Like we were at a standstill. We knew we couldn't do it on our own. We knew that we didn't have the capabilities to really build out a team yet, because we're kind of in a startup phase. But it was just a time saver, and ultimately, the ROI on our side is just incredible. The team that you guys have built out are great. Working with you guys, they're very responsive. You have your own Slack channel, which is very important for us. weekly calls, checking in. These are things that really make Beanstalk feel like you're part of your team rather than some other typical service that you get where they might lack in communication because they're halfway across the globe or something along those lines. It really does feel like a full service team that you can rely on to get deals and manage expectations, and they're quick to resolve issues if there are any. And it's just been a pleasure, to be honest. I think it's well worth the money that we're paying right now, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where this partnership grows to.
Well, awesome. Thanks for saying all that. If anyone else watching is interested in getting some help with done for you outbound or outbound in general, whether it's cold email, LinkedIn outbound, etc., reach out to us at beanstalkconsulting.co, and we're happy to jump on a call with you.